Hi, Jim. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Just excellent. Excellent. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot. Thank you, man. Okay. So, Jim, I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge. And now the second reason why I'm excited to have you on the show is for the sake of the folks who are going to be listening to our conversation, because I believe there are some things Jim knows that some of my audience needs to hear directly from your mouth in order to experience transformation. I firmly believe that. And thirdly, that is, I myself, I believe I am definitely going to learn one or two things from your insights, your story, your experiences. So for that reason, Jim, I want us to get started with your introduction. How the journey has been so far, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Jim, over to
Okay.
you.
Sure. Well, looking forward to being here and hit me up with any questions you have, and I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, beautiful. So let us get started first with your introduction. Then you talk to us about your journey, how the journey has been so far, the obstacles, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them.
Sure. Well, it's everything's going great now, but every day is not a great day, and the journey is so tough. And as you go further in your journey, the further you go, the more obstacles that there are, and you think it gets easier, but a favorite quote of mine is Bruce Lee. There's only plateaus, right? And there's no failure. It's just plateaus. So you get somewhere and you plateau, and then, okay, let's get to the next plateau and the next plateau and the next plateau. So that's where real growth occurs. And anytime you have growth, you can't have growth without pain, right? You can't have sunny days without rainy days, and you just can't. So in terms of the journey, I mean, your mental attitude is so important, because it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to things that happen to you.
I got that. I got that. Okay, so shall we get started with the questions?
Yep.
All right. Let us talk about AI and how it affects consumers and business. Can you talk to us about it?
About how what affects consumers in business? I'm sorry.
AI, artificial intelligence.
How AI affects consumers in business? Well, it's going to affect us in every which way. um, you know People who will know how to use AI are going to have a huge advantage in the marketplace. We're seeing it now. We use AI every single day within our business. It helps us to streamline operations. Um, Training someone on how to prompt for different things in AI, we're much more productive. I mean, what used to take us hours now takes us minutes. So we can get a brief. For example, I could feed this transcript into AI and say, give me a summary, and it'll give me a summary within 30 seconds of everything we spoke about. It's amazing technology. But it's the same thing, right? It's technology that can be leveraged. So that's what life's about, right? How can you leverage your time on this earth for the most opportunities? And from a consumer standpoint and a business standpoint, um, I use my premium version of ChatGPT every single day and ask it all sorts of questions and load it with all sorts of information so it can help me make more informed decisions quicker, and things that used to take, you think about for weeks or months. Now you can kind of come up with a pretty accurate decision within only a few seconds. So I think it's the ability of getting stuff off your plate, getting that next plateau, and AI helps you leverage and get to another plateau very quickly.
Mm, I got that. Okay, what are the do's and don'ts, all right, of scaling a business? Can you talk to
The
us about
do's and
that?
yeah, sure. Scaling a business is very tough. I mean, I think any business that you do, it's what do you do better? What do you do different? There's a million pizza shops. There's a million. Um, there's a lot of competitors that do exactly what you do. So what differentiates you? Number one, okay. But number two, the part of scaling the business is, focusing on your revenue and your margins the entire time. So it's really hard at the beginning because what you have to do is basically take no money out of the business, reinvest the profits back into the business for years and years. And it is hard, because I would say, okay, I want a printer. Well, if I make this amount of money, I can buy the printer I want. So we do that. And then instead of, treating myself to a restaurant, all right, we'll get the printer. And now after we get the printer, well, let's get this. And then, can I afford one employee? Right. And then all of a sudden you hire someone part-time for 15 hours a week. And then that becomes 20. Then that becomes 40. Then that becomes employee number 2. So to us, it was always, okay, what can each employee produce? What can I produce? What are the margins? And then once we fit those in, if we add a second person, can we double that? Yes. Okay. So that's the real key, I think, in scaling the business is, think big, start slow, spend smart, right? So those 3 things are really how you scale a business. And we've done it. We've gone from 0 to the Inc. 5000 twice. So to get to 1 million in revenue, only 4% of businesses ever get to a million in revenue. 0.04. So that's 4 out of every 1,000 get to the Inc. 5000 level. So, which is kind of shocking. So, at any rate, that's what I would say. It's really, think big, don't think small. Think big, but know your numbers. Okay, scale, put everything back in the business for a few years, and then you wake up in 5 years and you're like, you're going to be 5 years older no matter what. So
Mm,
if you could really get down and dirty and straight for 5 years, I mean, now I go to, nice restaurants, but I didn't 5 years ago or when I started the company, I'll tell you that. So, there it was like, okay, let's get ramen noodles and let's eat in. So, I think it's a lot of self-sacrifice at first to scale.
I got that. I got that.
Over,
You have to
over
think
trial and
big.
error, you're going to figure out the magic formula. So,
Hmm. The magic
yeah.
formula. Okay. So that's going to lead to a very interesting question. Now, how did you start your company with less than $100? Can you talk to us about that?
About the last part, I'm sorry.
Okay, how did you start your company with less than $100?
Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. Well, we're a service business, and um, yeah, that is kind of a crazy story. But yeah, I mean, I started with about $20. So I saw a need in the marketplace. I registered a domain name for $20 and did a Wix website, and it was like $11 for the domain and $5 for email for a month, and I just what problem can I solve for people, right? Because that's all we really do as business people, right? What problem can I solve that you would give me your money for, right? So I would look for the biggest problem that people couldn't solve and say, okay, we can do that for you. And I would give them a guarantee. Well, what if you don't, for us, it was market research recruiting. It was like, well, what if you don't find that person? I said, well, then we won't charge you. All the risk is on us. So now you really got to produce and you got to be able to hit the phone and hit the computer and find someone who met the criteria of what we're looking for a different study. We needed different patients. We needed, we needed different patients of a kidney disease one time. So I just basically did a lot of Instagram messaging, Googling, trying to find people who, went maybe did a kidney race and reached out to them and said, hey, I'm looking for a person for the study. Would you be interested? and then was able to find them people, and then the client was very, very happy, and we got paid, and the rest is history. So so that was how I started it, with under $100. And then as time went on, we would just reinvest profits plow it back into the business, right? So I drove a 14-year-old Honda with 150,000 miles. I still actually have the car. My son has it now, but so that's really what it took. And you can talk about AI, you can talk about whatever, but your biggest asset is your brain. And the best part, what was amazing is, a library card is free, and people drive right by and have never gone in the building, and it's scary. And there's so much information now on YouTube, things that didn't exist when I was coming up. So if I would do it today, if I was bankrupt today, what I would do is pick a growing segment, something that's growing, because if you grow, if it's a growing segment, it's very easy to make mistakes and still make money. So I find something that was growing. I'd study everything I could on it, YouTube, Google, any books I could read, and really just even for a weekend or a week, and just plow into it every free moment and become a subject matter expert, right? Like if you decide to become a subject matter expert at coding or something, they're all huge skills. And then from there, where can I apply those skills and solve problems? And, stop thinking of, well, I want to get a job for X per hour. Think of, what problem can I solve? The bigger the problem you solve for more people, the more you make, right? Amazon, what's the problem they solve? The problem they solve is, I don't want to go shopping. I hit the button. It already has my information saved, and it's at my house the next day. That's the problem it solves, right? So that's what I think.
Beautiful. You said some very important words. Rather than going and look for a job, just try to figure out what problem you can solve. That's a great one. I love that
Yeah.
because, I believe that every one of us are actually on this planet to be a solution to a specific problem or problems. And now you
Yeah.
just nailed it on the head. I love that. Okay, so to bring this to an end, James, what would you like to leave the audience with? Like a final thought, and to those ones who would like to reach out to you, maybe you said something that resonated well with them and they would like to learn more. How can that be possible?
Yeah. I mean, to reach out to me, the best way is LinkedIn. So just go on my LinkedIn. I'm at Jim F. Jacobs. So on there, there's a lot of Jim Jacobs, but Jim F. Jacobs, Focus Insight. If you'd like to be, and sign up for our panel. If you want to get paid, you want to seed your company and you want to get paid for your opinions, consumer product, medical product, that's what we do. We solve problems for companies where they say, hey, we're not sure what color people like our product in. We're not sure what features they like. And you get polled for your opinions, and you can make anywhere from $150 to up to $500 for giving your opinions for an hour, a couple hours in the focus group or whatnot. So just go to focusinsight.com, sign up for the panel, and we'd be happy to have you.
Beautiful. So, any final thought, to leave the audience with?
Final thought: make it a great day. Read as much as you can. The most underrated skill is reading, and there's such great books: The Traveler's Gift, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So many phenomenal books filled with knowledge. One of the best quotes I've ever heard was Charlie Munger, who was Warren Buffett's second in command for years. He said, every major problem you could think about in your lifetime is probably somewhere in a $30 book. The solution is somewhere in a $30 book. And I thought that was so true. And I have hundreds of books over here. I'm a voracious reader. It's changed my life. And, keep reading, and good things will come.
Beautiful. I love that. So that's going to be the end of the show, Jim. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing these powerful words with us. It means a whole lot, man. Thank you.
Thank you. It was great being here.